Good morning, Liberty.
Well, what is up, all of our liberty-loving friends? This is another fantastic episode of Good Morning Liberty. My name is Nate, and across from me is no one because Charlie is sick. I just got back from the Libertarian Party convention, and Chuck's not here. So I'm going to do this one on my own, which is unfortunate. It'll be a little bit less fun. I'm very tired. That is for sure. I'm very spent. I'm a very introverted guy. I typically avoid any kind of confrontation. And the last 4 or 5 days was definitely not that. It was the opposite of that. It was a very stressful time, for sure. But thank you guys for being here. Thanks for being patient while we just went a week without releasing an episode. That was a long trip, and I had planned on releasing some stuff while I was gone. I just did not plan on doing business from like 9 to 5 every day and then having events to go to every night, like immediately afterwards. And so I was busy from like 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. every single day for the last 4 or 5 days. So that's where we are right now. The Libertarian National Convention just concluded, and it was a mess. And I told everyone beforehand, by the way, I forgot my headphones. It's really going to throw me off today. I left them at home because I interviewed Scott Horton the night before I left for the convention. This feels really weird to me, talking without headphones after 1,700 episodes of talking with headphones. This would be like one of the 2 that I've done it without headphones. And so it's very weird for me. I wrote down some stuff because I wanted to get some thoughts out. And so I'm going to actually read some of the stuff that I wrote down before we talk about the stuff that happened at the convention. You probably, if you hang out online at all, have seen some reports of things that happened at the convention. One very big thing that happened at the convention that a lot of people were talking about, of which I was an eyewitness to the preceding events and the event in question that happened. So if you guys are interested in hearing about that, I'll tell you what I saw, and we're going to talk about it. But first, I'm going to read you what I wrote down earlier. So, and no, I can't borrow Chuck's headphones because we both have personalized in-ear headphones that are molded to the shape of our ears, and so his won't fit in my ears. Just won't work. So here we go. And I think I have to say this. I'm going to say it regardless. The opinions I'm about to express are my own opinions, and they do not reflect the opinions of the Libertarian Party of Tennessee, any of the people that work for the party, the leadership, or necessarily the members at all. Does not reflect the opinions of the Mises Caucus, of which I'm not even a member of the Mises Caucus technically, but I do host or co-host a Mises Caucus podcast. And so this is me, Nate Thurston, from Good Morning Liberty, giving you my opinions about some things that I saw. So the Libertarian Convention was a total mess. Bleep show, as some people might say. So what I saw this weekend is one of the leading causes of why libertarianism is not growing in America and why it's unlikely any libertarian will ever win on a national level. The infighting is worse than you think. It's not just the controversies that you see bubble up online. It's constant between all of those that aren't big enough to make it online. It is ever present at events like this. I would guess it's roughly 2/3 at this event, people that are fighting over who's going to control what is essentially cosplaying at the next convention where they will fight over who controls the cosplaying at the next. cosplaying as activists, revolutionaries, libertarians. That's essentially what this event is for. Many of the people that are in attendance do not hold the most basic libertarian values, the foundational values on which the entire ideology is based. So it is not a surprise that at a convention where we fight over who controls the brand name libertarian, there's more focus on disagreements than the things that we agree on. During business, there was no talk. Just in case you guys are wondering, during business, there was no talk of finding ways to obtain more freedom in the real world. Some might say that there was, but it's based on one specific idea. The only way to achieve more liberty is, of course, by electing big L libertarians to office, members of the Libertarian Party. And, of course, this can only be done after we secure ballot access in each election, which requires more money coming into the party. The only way to do that is by having more members of the party, and the best way to do that is to run candidates in big elections. Basically the same thing that they have been doing for over 50 years. This was my first time being involved in business in a party. And so while I was sitting there, I started to think about the goal of the people in the room. The ultimate goal of the people in my section and the people sitting directly behind us is to help bring more liberties to the American people. Maybe the people on the floor in front of us have the same goal, but it comes with a really big caveat, and that caveat is first and foremost in their minds. You have to cross this one first, that their goal is for elected libertarians to help bring more liberty to the American people. Maybe that's partly, that's their job. We are at a Libertarian Party convention, but we are supposed to be filled with a bunch of libertarians who are concerned with the things that are happening right now and what we can do about it. And we're there because we care about these things. Like almost no one there is getting paid to be there. They actually paid a lot of money to be there, to travel and be there. And you know that almost nothing that you care about is actually going to get enacted in the real world, but you're there because you care about those things. And my goal when I go to these things is liberty in my own life, for my family, for my friends, for the people in my state of Tennessee, and then the people in the U.S. And that's all I care about in politics. I don't care about parties. I don't. Could not care less about parties. Those who only care about liberty arriving through the Libertarian Party are no different from the party over principles mentality we see from Republicans and Democrats, in my opinion. This is important because some of the controversy and the LPNH stuff, the official reason for disaffiliation or what's going to be a years-long legal battle over disaffiliation, some of these ideas are important, and there's a chance they could be coming after the people in my state as well. I really hope that doesn't happen. So that, this is important, I think. I came to this ideology by the way of a Republican named Ron Paul. In 2016, I drove to Iowa to support a Republican candidate named Rand Paul, while the old guard of the Libertarian Party was telling me I should vote for former elected Republican Governor Gary Johnson. I supported Republican Thomas Massie in his congressional race, and I'll continue to support him in the future unless he changes his principles. The keynote speaker, who received the largest round of applause from the newest faction to take over the Libertarian Party, National, was former elected Republican Congressman Justin Amash, who only switched his party affiliation on the way out the door. So what is the point of the National Libertarian Party? The one absolute thing that they've accomplished in 50 years, agree or disagree, it's true. The one absolute thing they have accomplished in the real world in 50 years is getting Ross Ulbricht freed in exchange for allowing Trump to come speak at the convention in 2024. Other than that, their purpose is to fundraise for losing elections, antagonizing state affiliates, for mostly carrying out the will of the members of their party in pursuit of liberty in their states. I think it's likely destined to fail. The National Party probably already has. Number one, the American people, by and large, don't want libertarianism. Not yet. We haven't done a good enough job making our case. I'll accept my part of the blame for that. And number two, the Libertarian Party is the only party that's trying to protect or elect a representative for an ideology. Think about that. Like this one is tough, and I think it's one of the main reasons you just can never stop the infighting. It's just getting worse. Libertarianism is an ideology. Republicanism and whatever Democrats believe, it's not an ideology, really. It's not. It's whatever their leaders say it is, or can convince them to do. There's no strict ideology that people believe in with like foundational principles like the non-aggression principle or anything like that. There just isn't. It's like what they like or what they feel at that time. And so since the Libertarian Party is essentially the brand name for an ideology and trying to get that ideology elected or represented on a larger scale, there's going to be constant fighting about what that ideology actually is or means, or who's a real libertarian or not a real libertarian. It's going to be constant. It has been constant. This is a special problem that they have to deal with that the other parties don't have to deal with. So unless and until the Libertarian Party is filled with people who are most concerned with real, on-the-ground liberty happening, it will continue to do nothing but waste the money of its members. We get 1% to 3% of the vote each cycle. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. That's what's been happening since they were started. There is no indication that that is going to change. The biggest rallying cry over the weekend was that we're going to get back to doing what we were doing a few years ago. Great. It's awesome. To me, the metric for success for the Libertarian Party should be what they do to affect the lives of Americans in a positive way. Have they ever achieved at least one step toward less government, lower taxes, less war, etc.? Because at the end of the day, if that's not their goal, then what they're doing truly doesn't matter. And with that, I'll tell you, unless like Charlie brings it up or there's a big news piece that really matters, like this will be the only time we talk about the convention. Going there and watching everything happen and then getting online or reading the news or coming back home, it doesn't matter what happens at the national convention, so long as they allow the good people in the state affiliates to keep doing their thing, the people who are actually making a difference or trying their damned hardest to make a difference in their states. As long as they allow them to do that for the members of their state parties, it doesn't matter what happens at national. Just doesn't. Okay. The biggest name to bring a bunch of people into libertarianism was a guy who was on stage with Republicans in the Republican primary debate. Like we all know this. So I'm not saying it needs to be dissolved or whatever. They can keep running their club where they all gather around together with the goal of getting more people to gather around together to talk about what they're going to do when they get enough people to gather around together to maybe one day get like 5%. Wouldn't that be a thing? That'd be a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big win for liberty. I know that things keep getting worse, but did you notice that they got 5% of the vote in that election? See, doesn't that help? No. So with that, that's the end of the stuff that I typed out. I just didn't want to forget all of that stuff. I am hanging out today, by the way, with the Fed Haters Club. Join gml.com. And I'm going to be trying to talk back and forth with them because I planned on talking back and forth with Charlie. He's not here. Technically he is here. He's just upstairs, like coughing or something. I don't know what he's doing. Never know. So what happened? We got a new chair of the party, new vice chair. So we got a new LNC, new people there. So voting on some bylaws happened. Listen, when it comes to the new people running the party, I have heard plenty of things. I have not looked up anything on my own and researched anything on my own, which means I will currently refrain from using any of that as the reason that I might not like what's about to happen over the next couple of years. It's not important. The people are already elected to those positions. Most of the people who elected them knew about the things that I've heard, and it didn't matter. So it's not like they're going to get, recalled or whatever happens on these committees. Like that's not going to happen. So, we'll see what they do. The vice chair, Amanda Griffiths, I also will refrain from repeating all the things I've read online because Amanda Griffiths has been, is one of the OGs of the Fed Haters Club for Good Morning Liberty. She was probably here with the first batch of like 10 or 15 people that came to hang out with us live every day many years ago. She came from California all the way to Nashville to hang out with us for our 500th episode party. She's been on the show at least a dozen times, I would say. We've debated a couple times. We've hung out at conventions. And with all that being said, I will also refrain from the negativity when it comes to Amanda until there are things that I just disagree with and can't be quiet about. For right now, I'm going to wait and see what they do. Now, the first thing that they did, I'm not happy with. First thing they did, maybe not the very first thing, first news item they did. And as Costco said in the group, she's a friend and genuinely a good person. She's a friend of the show, has been a long time. That does not mean that she agrees with everything that we've ever said on the show. She did hang out with us like every day for years. But it does not mean that she obviously agrees with the opinions that I'm saying here on the show. So we got the vote for disaffiliation for the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire. There were some votes on bylaws. I think we made it through 11 bylaws. There were also like platform planks that we were supposed to vote on. We never got to those. We got through 11 of the 22 bylaw votes that I think it's 22 that were on the schedule. As always, I'm told happens at these things, there was some trickery pulled to try and get the last bylaw passed. It was voted down and motion made to basically reconsider in a special parliamentary way that I don't know because I've never read Robert's Rules of Order or whatever the thing is called. Robert's Rules, I don't know them clearly. Basically was pushed to the end of the convention, even though it was voted down on like the first day of the convention, in an effort to hope that enough people had gone home and to try and pass it. And that would have made it really hard for the states to bring in new people to their parties and bring them to the next convention. It would have set rules that you would have to be a member for 2 of the prior years before you're able to be a delegate. And no more, you can't have a 30-day lapse in your membership. And keep in mind, the next big convention, 2 years from now, And so if you're not signed up and good to go right now, then you wouldn't be able to come into the next convention and potentially remove some of these people from power if you don't like what they're doing. That, in my opinion, is them doing exactly what I've heard them accuse other factions of doing. Not good. That was voted down. That is good. There were at least enough people in the room who disagreed with that, that it was voted down. You should be able to vote with your feet in these parties. If you don't like who's running the obviously, a lot of people didn't like Angela or what she was doing, and they left the party. To then say that they couldn't come back and be a delegate without continuing to pay that regime money is ridiculous. It just is. And that's what they were trying to do. So I'm glad that got voted down. So we only made it through 11 of the bylaws. No talk about platform, or no official votes on platform stuff. We basically got together to elect new chair, vice chair, at-large people, judicial committee people, stuff like that. And it took us many days and many hours to get through all of that. What a fun time. Okay, so now what? What's the thing in the live group that you guys would like to hear about? What could we... it's probably the stuff that happened with the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, I bet. It's probably that. Let me try and put something on the screen here. I did not mean to have a Joe Jorgensen tweet up when I pulled this up. Let's get to... I want to go to how some of this stuff started. Something that I very much disagree with. I don't want to spend... someone in the group asked, what's the strategy to be a legit third party? It's a great question. Have you looked at bylaw number 8? Because we did vote on it, and that should really get you going. That's literally the only answer I have for you because I don't know. The strategy is to go back to the way things used to be before the Mises Caucus people took over, back when the party was super powerful and getting a lot of stuff done in America. That's the current they're going to do. Maybe they're going to try and bump up those numbers, though. So with a little bit bigger number, but still not enough to actually get anything done. So that's the plan. That's as much as I know right now. So Jeremy Kauffman, who runs Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, was there. It was an interesting time for me. As I said, I hate confrontation. Unfortunately, because it actually ended up being a little bit fun. The Libertarian Party of New Hampshire was seated directly behind our tables. And so got the pleasure of hearing everything that was directed toward them from the other 600 people in the room throughout the event, because we were sitting right next to them. So that was good. And some of it directed at us as well. Personally talked to people who said that they're going to try and disaffiliate the Libertarian Party of Tennessee. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope they look at the reality and the facts on the ground, and they don't do that. Jeremy Kauffman got up to give a speech. This was in a chair debate, actually, for chair of the LP. Jeremy was running for chair of the Libertarian Party. Not really, just so you know. He told me to vote for the other guy. Like, I talked to him. And I was like, after hearing that, might have to give you my vote. And he was like, oh, well, you can do it as a joke first off, but second ballot, you got to make sure, to vote for someone else. And so he was not actually trying to run the Libertarian Party. He was trying to get on stage and do the debate and be able to give some speeches. And I would say they actually probably achieved most of the goals that they had at the convention. other than one of their members getting arrested, which we'll talk about. While he was speaking, some people decided to squeak some rubber chickens. And when you watch like on the, if you watched on the live feed on YouTube, you know, it wasn't real loud or anything. If you were sitting in there, like in the crowd or in the delegation, it was pretty loud, especially since that person was, I don't know, 50 feet ahead of us. It's pretty loud, whatever. I find this to be a very seriously unlibertarian thing to do. It disgusted me, actually. I believe, and I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I believe the person is from New Jersey. Not trying to go too much further into all of that infighting because I don't really care who she is or where she's from. It doesn't matter. Trying to bring in noisemakers to try and drown out someone while they're speaking. Now, what does that sound like? It sounds like some leftist college campus, like Marxist activists, is what it sounds like. I took it personally. Like, I wasn't smart enough, or the other people in the room weren't smart enough to listen to Jeremy speak and to make our own decisions. Well, this person decided that she was the only smart person in the room and that she needed to make this noise. And actually what she wanted was for people to look at her and talk about her. And she was running for another position, which she lost, and I'm happy about that. I think her strategy did not work. She wanted some attention prior to trying to win her election. It did not work, and she wanted some attention online, and that has worked a little bit. So maybe she's having fun. She wasn't on the stage. She wasn't invited to be on the stage for this. Those people were on the stage, and they were participating in the debate. The people in that room are smart enough to decide whether or not they agree with the things that Jeremy Kauffman is saying or not. That is on them. It's not on you to try and control the outcome by trying to drown out the speaker or make your voice heard. That's not the time to make your voice heard. The event has given a microphone to Mr. Kauffman. I was also very disappointed that she was not kicked out, that the noisemaker was not taken away from her, and that the debate moderator did not stop the debate and tell the people to stop making noise. Instead, while this stuff was going on, interrupting him speaking, his time was still kept as if none of that was going on, and he was cut off short every time because he was dealing with people heckling him the entire time. This is extremely not libertarian. You might also say that some of the things that Jeremy Kauffman was saying weren't libertarian, even though he wasn't there to really give you his ideals on libertarianism. He was just talking about strategy and how awful the Libertarian Party is. You might say that some of the stuff he said online is not very libertarian. Okay, that's for people to decide. It's not for you to decide. This type of childlike, controlling, like unable to control your emotions, and so it leads you to try and control other people behavior should not be tolerated at an event. It just shouldn't. But it was. And I believe Kauffman was right about why it was. So here's some of that happening. Sorry.
Libertarianism is a beautiful ideology. We believe in free markets. We believe in voluntary association. But we can't use the word because this party has increasingly been controlled by leftist freaks, degenerates, losers, and antisocial people who no one wants to work with. The Libertarian Party of New Hampshire is the most successful state party in the entire country. We're the most successful state, and I've helped make it the most successful state, and you guys are nothing but bitter about it.
So she did that anytime he spoke, and the entire time that he spoke. Just pure children, like embarrassments and disappointments. And just, as I said, offensive behavior to think that they are smarter and better than everyone else in the room. Kauffman got like, I don't know, 20 votes, maybe less than that. The people in the room were able to listen to him and decide that they didn't want him as chair. Instead, they wanted to move the focus to themselves, to their signs, whatever they have on their signs there, as if they were the only people in the room that were capable of thinking. In fact, it was quite the opposite. There were people around them asking them to stop. There were people from plenty of other tables that went to them and asked them to stop. The chair of the party asked them to stop. This is the previous chair, not the one that's chair now, was asking them to stop. They were allegedly waiting on security to come over there to remove her. I don't know. That's potentially the case. Yeah, just an embarrassment is what it is. She says afterwards, the Libertarian Party gave a platform to a racist, homophobic, misogynistic asshat who, on stage, used a slur and demanded I be physically removed. People were Nazi saluting him in the crowd. I was the only one who chose to protest platforming a Nazi. People from New Hampshire were touching me, leaning against me with their cameras and trying to grab my chicken from my hands, which is assault. Never try to take chicken from her hands. A member of our staff, Michelle, had to body block them. She is a hero. I watched this whole, it's so crazy to actually, this is one of the rare opportunities I had to be involved in a controversial situation and then see how people portrayed it afterwards. And I actually had that opportunity multiple times to see and you just got to think this happens all the time. She had the body block them. The Michelle person she's talking about just stood there. That's all it was. No one was pushing against her, nothing like that. People were going up politely, literally politely up to her and saying, "What are you doing? You have to be kidding me. This is annoying." One of my friends who was sitting next to me went up and was like, "Are you kidding me? This is embarrassing." Super nice guy, not being threatening whatsoever. And of course, she has to come out and she's the victim in this case. For he demanded that she be physically removed. But who did the thing first? Did he get up there on stage and call someone a slur and then demand that you were removed just randomly? That was a part of his opening speech? Or when he got up there to speak, you were trying to drown him out and people were trying to shout him down and standing up in front of the stage, heckling him the entire time. He responded to that, and now you're using that as an excuse for the stupid things that you were doing, like freaking Marxist children. I actually found it to be more stressful and more disappointing than seeing leftist Marxist college campus activists doing this kind of thing. In the same way, I get more frustrated with Republicans who at some point in time, they used to talk about the Constitution a lot or whatever. And so it's more frustrating to see them be hypocrites. At least actual Marxists on college campuses, we know that they are children with horrible ideologies and no emotional control at all. And what they're doing fits in their principles because their principles are retarded. And so when people at a Libertarian convention do things like this has actually risen up on the hierarchy of most frustrating things I can see. I hate seeing, Democrats all of a sudden not care about war. Like when Biden was in office, that's frustrating. Republicans all of a sudden not care about anything that they claim to care about. That's super frustrating. But libertarians at a Libertarian convention, the people from your state who were chosen as delegates to be there to vote in the Libertarian national elections, and they're doing this stuff, that's a new level of frustration that I've experienced. She continues, Stephen Nikela, that's the chair currently at that moment, initially stated that since we were not in session, he had no control over decorum of the crowd, which is correct. He then waffled nearly immediately, so much for freedom of speech, even speech you don't like. Now, this is her speaking in the context of she has freedom of speech, and they were trying to violate her free speech rights. And it might have been speech that you don't like, but these hypocrites were coming up there and trying to prevent her free speech. And how hypocritical are they? These are some of the people that are, not her personally, but I can't tell you a lot of friends that are now running the Libertarian Party. Thank you to everyone who literally rallied around me. You are heroes. Yes, it was a courageous battle they all waged up there. Very heroic. Delegates lost their voice when they got rid of the token signature system. We couldn't choose who we wanted to hear on stage. I represented the voice who didn't want to hear from a Nazi at our convention. Those people simply could have left if they wanted to, but the people running the party decided that Jeremy Kauffman could be up there on stage. It's pretty easy, pretty simple. She calls out Brian McWilliams, who we've known for a while. She said, Brian McWilliams is the man who put his hands on me and tried to grab my property during my protest. Yes, the chicken. He admitted to doing it to 2 delegates. I don't see anything wrong with that. I'm a little bit upset with Brian that he did not succeed. So thank you for letting me know to be upset with Brian McWilliams. Okay. She referenced someone doing a Nazi salute. And here's a picture of a guy named Andrew Allgood doing a Sig Heil, doing a little Roman salute there at the convention. Now, seeing this photo, you might look at that and think, wow, that guy's tall. Also, wow, he's doing a Nazi salute. That's weird. At a libertarian convention, Nazis were not very libertarian. In fact, they were very opposite of libertarian. And so why is this happening? This guy can't possibly be allowed in. Problem is, so this happened right behind where I was seated. And at this point in time, this was occurring while Kauffman was on stage speaking during the debate and was getting heckled by people in the crowd, and people were yelling back and forth, and some people were yelling at other people, and there was just a lot of hoopla going on. It was very loud in the room. And he stood up, did a salute, and yelled, "Hail Kauffman." I was there. It was hilarious. It just was. It was a joke, clearly. I know it's a joke because the way that they interacted with each other was not as if he was some immediate subordinate to Jeremy who had to walk around saluting him all the time. It was a joke in the moment while Jeremy was getting heckled very loudly and interrupted on stage. You know, most people do their Nazi salutes at home. Trust me, you don't do them out in public, okay? Not something I would ever do. The people from the Libertarian Party, New Hampshire, are a little different. They don't really care about norms or the codes that we all live by as it pertains to salutes or language or anything like that. They don't. It's at least principled. Like, they don't just hold back on doing things because people would get mad about it. You know, just saying. Okay, so that's what happened there. It was not like someone throwing up an actual Heil Hitler or something like that during the event. Okay. That is not me sitting next to him. So you can see some of the people from Tennessee directly. I would be over to the left about 7 or 8 people in the next row up. In this row. I saw the moment it happened. I laughed my ass off. It was like a very good comedic relief in the moment where there were just a bunch of people yelling at Jeremy and him yelling at them and people arguing back and forth and stuff like that. Like, sorry, not sorry. It was funny. Just was. Not something I would have the balls to do. Turns out this guy does other stuff that I wouldn't do. Okay. So I reckon we'll talk about that just a little bit. An event happened. You guys want to know about the big thing that happened? This is basically like the big things that came out of the LPNC. That's what it was. So this guy did end up slapping someone at the event. So I really wanted to have a good conversation with Charlie about this. I had about an hour and a half long conversation with someone on my way home last night, and it was a good, productive conversation. So some stuff was stolen from their table, and they claimed some stuff was stolen the day before or the night before from their table as well, like a flag they had brought or some other kind of signage they had brought or something like that. I don't know anything about that. I know about their claims of it. They claim it was the same person who stole the stuff the next day, and I don't know anything about that. I do know about the situation that happened here, though, because I was there. And in fact, I was one of the only delegate members who saw what took place on the floor here in the convention room and then followed them outside to the lobby where the event eventually happened. When it happened, a bunch of other people rolled up. Situation was under control / also out of control at the same time, but annoyingly out of control. I went back to business because business was still taking place in the other room. So, and I was a delegate from my state. So, person took some stuff from their table. He requested it back. He demanded it back. They said they were not going to give it back. They went out to the lobby trying to get away from him. He followed along with one other person. And they struggled over the property that was in her hands that she wouldn't let go of. He tried to get it out of her hands, and she would not let go of it. And then all of a sudden, next thing I know, there's a slap. Yeah, I was in shock. I've never actually seen that take place in real life before. It was a girl that took the stuff from the table. And it was this guy that is taller than me that slapped her. So you can have that conversation. Absolutely, I would not have done that. See, I still proceed by the old ways, which is that you treat women a little bit differently. You know, you just don't hit a lady. You just don't do it unless you're like in danger, you know. You just don't hit a lady. Like that's just not how I would react. That's not how I would react in the situation. It's not how I would think he should react in the situation either. And so I don't want to spend like time arguing over that, like whether or not he should have done what he did. Let's just, can we probably agree in a live group right now? Hopefully, maybe we'll see. Can we probably agree in a live group right now that it's probably not on like the top 5 first steps that we'd take in retrieving said property to slap the woman that won't let it go. See if we can get a vote on that here in the group. Not my thing. What I've been most annoyed by in this situation, it's easy for me to say that, yeah, I don't think he should have done that. Okay. That's me personally. That's not something that I would do. But I don't think it had to happen in that moment. Okay. The most annoying thing I've seen so far, though, is since that is like so bad and you just don't do it. Okay. I'm surprised they haven't posted that they were just trying to stand up for women's equality or something like that. I'm like shocked that they haven't posted something like that. But I'm sure they will at some point in time. But everyone at the convention believes that you should treat women differently than men. And so, like, if you were talking about the situation and you say, well, a man grabbed this stuff from the table, you said, put it down. That's my stuff. I don't want you to take that. He says that she said she was going to throw it away or whatever. I didn't hear that part. There's a lot of stuff going on in the room. I just saw it happening. And I heard him saying to put it back. And so it's like a man comes and takes the stuff off of your table and you're struggling trying to get your property back. Probably if you are so inclined, if you're someone who is, someone who wants to do that kind of thing or wants to risk like getting in a fight with someone over the property and think that you might be able to win versus this guy, I'd say there's a quicker order of operations that leads you to physical altercation with the guy. Probably. Say that's true. And so our first issue here is that multiple people in the room all agree, and in the live group probably all agree that you don't hit a lady. And surprisingly, that's also the case at the Libertarian Convention. They all agree on that as well. So it's something that'll like a lot of people, I would say like a super majority of the room overall probably agrees that that's not something you do or not what was proper in that moment. Okay. That's fine. So then there's the issue of the property. And this has actually been kind of the annoying thing to me. So we've really determined that the first issue is that it was a woman, not that if it was a man. Okay. If it was a man, probably something different happens. Probably something very different happens. There was property being taken, requested by the property owner for it to be put back down on the table, did not want that person to take the property. They proceeded to walk off quickly with that and would not give it back to the owner. They struggled over the property, and while they were struggling to try and get the property, physical force was used in order to get them to drop the property on the ground. Okay. In that scenario, my bet is the man who took the property gets in trouble. Or people are at least able to say out loud, that was wrong for him to do that. He should not have gone to the table and taken that stuff from them. Let's say it wasn't LPNH because so many people in the room hate LPNH. Let's say it was a opposite version of one of the more favored bodies in the delegation, and someone from my group or a different group like take the factions out. Someone goes and takes stuff. They say, don't take that stuff. You leave with it. You struggle over the property. There's eventually a physical altercation in order to get the person to drop the property. I've seen so many people just unable to say that she was wrong to take the stuff to begin with. And they have moved to the most like childish reasoning, just annoying, childish, nearly not Marxist reasoning, like there is no property or that all belongs to us reasoning, but like that level of just irrational thought process. And I think that stems from them hating the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, hating Jeremy Kauffman, hating the guy who did what looked like a Hitler salute, Nazi salute, wanting them to be gone. and hating the like more right-leaning side of the party. And so they're just not able to do it. And the fact that it was a woman, not a man, they just cannot admit that she did something wrong. And they will make any argument possible in order to get away from the idea that she initiated the situation in the room by taking someone else's stuff. Okay? She just did. It's the case. It's the fact. So the next annoying argument goes that, well, it was promo material. Promo material that they were giving out for free to people. Now, when you hear that, like free stuff, even libertarians go like, oh, it's free. You can take as much of it as you want. It's free. And that one really burns me up because I've gone to a lot of these conventions. And we've got boxes of stuff that we take to conventions. And you spend money on the stuff. You spend time designing it. You might pay someone to design it. In this case, for them, it was a magazine. People have said pamphlet. They're saying that to try and minimize, trying to make it as small as possible. It is the size of a magazine, although it only has like 12 pages or something like that. But it is a magazine-sized thing that is not as cheap to print out as a pamphlet would be or a flyer would be. And I've seen plenty of people saying, oh, someone took their free flyers and they got mad about it. No, it was a printed magazine about the great things in New Hampshire that people should come and see or why they should consider moving to New Hampshire. That's what it was. It was not the cheapest thing to print out, although it didn't look like a super high quality magazine or anything like that. But that doesn't matter. That part doesn't matter. When we go to conventions, we'll take boxes of stuff, and a lot of it we just put out on the table for people to take. Okay, I use pens as an example. Actually, I'm actually holding one right now. These pens, I mean, they're fairly cheap pens, although at this point I've had this one for like 6 years now, so I guess it's a pretty good pen. Says taxation is theft. Good morning, liberty.us. Ooh, that is edgy, isn't it? So we have a bunch of these, and we put them out on the table at convention. We bought them for a purpose. We bought them as an investment. Like, you don't do it for fun. You don't just do it because, oh, wouldn't it be cool if that guy has a pen? I'm going to buy him a pen. That's not why you do it. You do it because you put your name on it. Why do you put your name on stuff? You do it because you're trying to make an investment in your future for whatever name it is that you're putting on the thing. You're hoping that someone's going to see it, and then they're going to decide to do whatever it is you want them to do. Buy something, move to New Hampshire, listen to your podcast, whatever the case may be. That's why you do it. Or learn a new idea or something like that. You're trying to recoup this investment down the road. And so when we buy a bunch of these things and we put them out on the table, is it okay for someone to come by and grab 20 of them right in front of my face and say, I'm taking this? Let's speculate. Maybe they said, I'm going to go throw these away. I'm going to go throw these in the river out there that's outside the door. Okay. Or actually, who cares what they say they're going to do with it? Is that okay for them to come and take that? Because technically these are free pens. Is there not like a little bit of decency like that you expect from society? Like, do you want someone to just empty out the entire napkin container at McDonald's, or, take all the sporks from KFC, or like all the stuff that's sitting out? Like, that's the kind of society really that we're moving towards, that people are doing that, but it's not okay. There's a little bit of trust in society when you put out multiple things that are free and you expect people to just take one of them or to take what they need. And so still at that time, the rights are with the property owner, the person who bought them, to decide how they're going to be distributed. In this moment, someone can come by and get one of them. But if someone comes by and picks up all of them off the table, all the stuff that I paid to print out, and they pick them all up off the table, whatever they're going to do with it, I reserve the right to say, I don't want you to take those, put those back down. They knew that she wasn't going to do anything good with them. They had been yelling back and forth with each other throughout the entire convention. She's from Illinois, a couple tables up from where they were, over to the right. These people have been yelling at Tennessee and New Hampshire the entire time. People have been fighting back and forth amongst each other over the entire convention. There was no illusion that she was going to grab them and like gracefully distribute them to the audience like what New Hampshire had intended. People online want to play dumb with this because that's what they do. They're acting like leftists right now. And most of the arguments you have with leftists are just them pretending not to understand things. That's just all it is. And that's what they are doing. Okay? So absolutely, the property owner has the right to decide how these things are distributed. They belong to the property owner. And if you decide, hell, someone comes by the table to take your free item, you say, actually, I don't want you to take that item. No, that's not for you. It's for the next person. Yeah, guess what? That's your right to do that. And this is perhaps the craziest thing to me. Like so many people can say, yeah, not the best idea to hit that lady. Okay. But a bunch of libertarians at a libertarian convention can't even say that the property owner's rights were violated because they are so emotional about what that person did as a response that they can't say that the rights were with the property owner. They have to make all these excuses. Well, they were free flyers that they were handing out to people. They weren't flyers. They weren't pamphlets. They were magazines that were printed. And you still have the right to decide how those are going to be distributed to the people. You are the one who's trying to make that investment and recoup it later on in the future with your promo materials. Okay? The fact that a bunch of libertarians, many of whom are now running the party or who are closely aligned in an alliance with the people who are running the party, cannot simply come out and say that it was wrong for her to do that is one of the main reasons I see this party, this libertine party, going to hell quickly. It's going to happen very fast. This is not going to go well. They might get to keep having their meetings and keep their club going and feel good about the fact that they're having their meetings and keeping their club going, and they're going to have an event somewhere and they're going to get someone on the ballot somewhere, but it's not going to happen. They're going to try to align to the disaffected people on the left, and then that because they're very upset with the people who are trying to market to the disaffected people on the right, okay, that they're going to market to the disaffected people on the left. And guess what? The people on the left, the socialists on the left, the people who hate the Democrats, but they're still socialists on the left, they will freaking kill you. Okay? You owning anything is oppression. And that's who they have decided that they are going to align with. Now, listen, I'm no fan of the Republican Party right now. No fan of a bunch of Republicans right now. Okay? But they don't want to kill me just for having money. Okay? They don't want to kill me because I got one more cow than the next guy. But a bunch of people in the party, I'm telling you what, it's not just something you're seeing online. There's a bunch of them in the party. And that's what's happening right now. So, what do you do about that? What do you do about that now? That's a tough one. The number one thing that I'm going to do, I'm not going to tell you what to do. Guys, I care about politics and I care about libertarianism. I care about liberty. We just need a new name, clearly. There's got to be a new brand that happens here. That's going to be tough to do because you're talking about like an ideology. Okay. That's going to be tough to do. I care about this stuff a lot. The things that you care about are not going to happen on a national level. They're going to happen on a local level. They're going to happen on the state and local level. There are many state libertarian parties out there that are just doing the Lord's work when it comes to lobbying their congressmen and women and trying to get important things passed or trying to get important things blocked. They might not be able to get libertarians elected, but there are people that are doing the work of pushing liberty and libertarianism on the ground every single day. And I do still recommend that you look up the Libertarian Party in your state. There's a 50-50 shot at least that the Libertarian Party in your state kind of sucks a little bit. Doesn't mean that you can't get some of your friends together and be the change that you want to see in that state party. That's possible. Some of those people would be difficult to share a room with, though. That'd be difficult to have dinner with them, for sure. So I understand that. So look at your county Libertarian Party if you want to do that. That's the only way I can tell anyone to have any involvement with the Libertarian Party. County, state, and that's about it. You know, and those are actually the only ones that matter. How many years do you guys think we are away from getting a libertarian elected on a national, federal level? How many years is that away? All of them. All of them is probably the answer, okay? Especially if things just keep going the way that they have been going and there is no sign that it's going to stop going the way that it's been going. There's not. Their biggest push was to get back to the way things were going beforehand, when we were able to get 3% by putting an elected Republican governor on the ballot. Former Republican on the ballot. I keep forgetting to even mention freaking Bill Weld on there too. Good Lord. These people are so principled. But they can get their percentages and they can get their votes because that's what they care about. That's the actual thing that they care about. Not actually winning. Not actually making anything better for you, not getting your congressman to do one thing differently or another in your states, which is where the real stuff happens that really matters. I'm lucky to be in a state that really matters. They are working really hard. I've tried to not get them in any trouble during this conversation, and I hope that I did not get them in trouble in this conversation. But they are doing real work, and they are really affecting things. It's going to take some time, but they are affecting things, and I'm proud to be helping them do that. The other thing that we can be doing, just all of us, I know this is boring and like you've probably heard it for a long time. We're not going to have libertarianism until a bunch of people want libertarianism. And even that's probably not going to do it. But that's like the only chance like you're ever going to vote and libertarianism is going to happen. A whole bunch of people are going to want that. They're going to need to understand it, kind of. Don't need to get into the freaking non-aggression principle with them or anything, not on the first date anyway. But more people need to understand why it's the better option. Or, you know, at the very least, sorry to sound like a conservative Republican or whatever, why very, very, very small, minimal government, less government all the time is better. Why people like Thomas Massey or Ron Paul or Rand Paul or any of these people are the, that they're the way to go. And hopefully those people will grow into becoming a libertarian eventually on their own. It's tough to like force people into that. That's what has to happen. It's going to be more people that want it, if it is even possible to vote your way out of this mess that we're in. I think we have to keep acting partially as if it is, because at the moment you fully decide it's not, then you completely disengage and everyone else just runs rampant. And also there's no one there to tell people what the right ideology is or whatever. Like you got to be the people that are there, like not instructing or educating or talking to people. So when this all does come crumbling down, the people that do rise up are the right kind of people. That's the kind of thing that you want. I don't think I have anything else to say about this. I didn't really bring in any of the stuff that I brought up. Once again, typically have brought in a whole bunch of content, and I didn't. Oh, so okay. One more thing though, bit of news. The LNC did vote to disaffiliate Libertarian Party, and I did get this. Let me see here. I've got a video of Jeremy Kauffman getting kicked out because once I saw how fun everything was getting, I just kind of spent some time hanging out in the back of the room so I could catch what was going on. I literally turned off my camera during the time that the stuff happened, and I was about to get it back out. I followed them from the table out the doors into the lobby and was working on it. I was like, oh, this is going to be something I should record, I guess. I don't know. I feel slimy when I record stuff. I'm not meant for that. Seems weird. And I didn't get it on video. So that's unfortunate. Let me get to... So Jeremy Kauffman, this is one of the things that I actually really did not like. And it pertains to the theft that happened. I guess that turns into an attempted theft because she did drop the stuff. She should have gotten in trouble. Like the chair should have recognized that. We're at a libertarian convention. Property rights is like the foundation of all your rights. And people can pretend to be dumb and talk about it being promo material and stuff like that. A bunch of the people posting about this have paid for boxes of promo material, and they all know, regardless of what they respond to me online with, that they would be upset if someone came up and just grabbed a box of stuff that they were handing out to people. They'd be upset about it. They would feel slighted by that. They would feel like a theft just happened. They might not do anything about it, but they know deep in their hearts somewhere that it's wrong to do, that is theft of someone else's property. That is an abuse of the trust that people have when they bring a box of promo stuff to an event, to take the entire thing, even if it was going to get handed out for free. That's just what it is. This is all being clouded by the fact that they hate the person that at first in the room was the victim of the circumstance that took place. Maybe that shifted just a little bit later on. So Jeremy Kauffman tried to go up there and raise a motion or a point. Yeah, listen, I don't know the Robert's Rules stuff. These are official meetings where you have to do everything as slow and annoying as possible. But it is like a good governing law for how things have to take place, like so it doesn't just devolve into even worse chaos, and like a book of rules that people can go back to. So I get it, whatever. He goes up and tries to say like, hey, we have video of this girl stealing, he says, stealing from their table the day before or the night before, and stealing from their table that day in that instance that happened. And he's asking to present the video evidence to the chair. And the chair, people start yelling at him in the room. They're all upset. Everyone knows about what happened. The chair says, no, we're not doing that. It's not in order, not business. I don't know what he said. It was dumb as a response. And that's his response. Jeremy is very upset about that, says a theft took place. I have video evidence of it. That person is still a delegate at a freaking libertarian convention right now where we protect private property rights. And you are just going to ignore that it happened. And so this led to them going back and forth so much that he got kicked out. And so here is, since I was standing in the back of the room, I caught some of the stuff happening.
Not believe in censorship. This is the heckler's veto. This is an abuse of power, and it's wrong.
If you can do that outside the building, you can. Okay, if you can have this conversation outside the building. I'm happy to have it outside of the room.
Why are you getting kicked out, Jeremy?
This is wrong what you guys are doing. It's wrong.
Why are you getting kicked out, Jeremy?
This is fantastic.
Why are you getting kicked out?
Because we have video evidence of a theft happening against the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire. The Libertarian Party is controlled by bitter leftists who do not care if a theft happens. Okay, let's go. No, my laptop's on. You have to let me talk. You're obviously.
I think he was right in that moment. He was right. It should have been brought up. She should have gotten in trouble for it. Not saying she should have been arrested or something, with $5 worth of stuff or something like that. Okay, but you don't steal from someone at a Libertarian convention. And like one of the responses I got, because I've been arguing with people online, I don't know why I do that, was, well, you should be smart enough not to leave all of your promo materials out on the table where anyone can get to them. And I'm like, really? Like at a Libertarian convention, you should have to put your stack of promo stuff under the table so a libertarian doesn't come by and steal from you at the convention? That's where we are, and that is where we are. That is today's Libertine Party. Just as note, as this was happening, Lynn Ulbricht came over to the side and like caught the end of it. And I think she's at the no, she's not at the tail end of this video. She's at the full video that I have. And I stood there and talked to Lynn Ulbricht. That's Russ Ulbricht's mom. She was like, she's fine. I don't know how old she is. Let's just say she's, I don't know, 70. I don't know how old she is. Sorry if that's way too much. And she was like, well, what did I miss? And I was like, well, this, and this happened. She's like, yeah, I heard that someone that like allegedly got like hit or something. I was like, well, that happened. I saw it happen for sure. And so I filled her in on everything. Real fun to talk to. And she was like, I think I recognize you. I was like, yeah, you've been on the show before. And it's so cool that she still goes to these events. Her son got 2 life sentences plus 20 years or so. I don't know how much it was, plus whatever it was. Like he was supposed to die in prison, according to the government. This guy was supposed to die in prison. And through some miracle, although it has unfortunately caused more issues in the Libertarian Party, a deal was made to get something done, which is get him released from prison. And through like that miracle, he was actually released instead of spending the rest of his life in prison for hurting no one, which is disgusting that is the case, that can even happen, but it still does happen. It's still happening to a lot of people, especially people related to Bitcoin. She still goes to these events. Even after he got pardoned in January of 2025, she's spoken at like every one of them I've been to. She's still traveling the country, speaking on behalf of these other people who they call like the Bitcoin POWs or prisoners, trying to help get them out of prison, where those guys, like their wives are there trying to speak on their behalf. And she doesn't have to do this anymore. She doesn't have to be there. She won. Her son is out. He's enjoying his life. I think he's got a kid on the way. I'm pretty sure I saw a post about that. She still spends her time going around to libertarian events, speaking on behalf of other people who she believes got unjust sentences. And that is just so cool to see. It's one of the positives you can take out of this extremely negative episode, is that there are still a lot of great people involved with the party or with the movement or whatever it is that you want to call it, that are going around trying to get stuff done. And so don't write all of those people off. They are still trying to do it. And she won. Ross is out. And that, couldn't be happier for her. But there's still a lot of people that are there, and she's still out there speaking on her behalf. And that is so cool of Lynn to still be out doing that. That's all I have to say about these things today. I'm going to do my best to not talk about the Libertarian National Party anymore until it's important. But coming back to news going on around the world today, what I saw is it's very important to a lot of people that were in that room and almost no one else. And they continue on this path. That will always be the case. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Sorry it was just me and not both of us. I plan on being here tomorrow. You can come and hang out in the Fed Haters Club. Join gmail.com. You can go to godhatesfeds.com, get a t-shirt. You can leave a rating on your favorite podcast app. You can find us on YouTube. Comment on this video. Hit like, subscribe, do all of those things. I really appreciate you guys listening and being here. With all that, I will see you tomorrow. And until then, have a good day and a good morning, Liberty.